Hello, historical parents. This is Chuck Taft, 8th grade history coach at University School Milwaukee. I wanted to give you an overview of something that's been introduced to all of our young historians over the last week, and that is the National History Day Project. This is our 22nd year, I believe, of doing National History Day here at University School. It's an amazing curricular program that is done by schools all across the United States, all 50 states, and including some international schools in different countries. Upwards of 700 to 800,000 students will be doing this project this year. And it's going to be exciting for our young historians because this is real history that they're about to be jumping into. If you want to know a little bit more about National History Day, I would direct you to NHD.org. This is a program that started 52 years ago, and NHD.org tells you all about this amazing, amazing program. Again, it's somewhat of a curriculum, but it's also a competition, but really what it does is it's an opportunity for our students to really grow in areas outside of the classroom as well as inside of the classroom. And they're going to develop skills that are going to help them all throughout their lives, especially their academic lives. NHD matches the C3 framework that has been adopted by the National Council for the Social Studies, and also it is perfectly aligned with the Wisconsin Standards for Social Studies. I was part of the group that wrote those standards 8 years ago, and in part of our writing we looked to NHD because NHD is all about inquiry. Most people don't realize it, but the word history, the root of it is to inquire, learning by inquiry, asking questions. And this is what your students are going to do. They are going to come up with a topic, and then they're going to formulate questions in order to investigate that topic. They're going to gather and organize sources and evidence. They're going to interpret and analyze that evidence. They're going to then evaluate and draw conclusions about it. And finally, they're going to communicate it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. And it really is probably the biggest project they're going to do, maybe in all of their USM career, but also one that is quite beneficial to them. They can have a topic of their choosing. One of the things I love about NHD is it deals with choice, but that topic has to have some relationship to the annual theme. This year, the theme is revolution, reaction, reform, and history. We've gone into detail about what revolution, reaction, and reform mean. There's videos that they've been able to watch. They've been assigned that, and a reading they've been assigned to do. And we'll continue to reinforce that both in class and as we look at their projects. I mean, it's a perfect theme this year because there's this little American Revolution anniversary going on. Right now, we're looking at the Declaration of Independence, which was part of the American Revolution. It was a reaction to what the British were doing, and it led to reform in the form of a new form of government and a new country. So it kind of works. There are 3 essential decisions that students are going to make, and they are in the middle of making 2 of them right now. That is their topic, and if they're going to work solo or in a group. They eventually will have to decide what type of project they're going to do. We've talked in 2 different classes about the topic and working solo as a group. So they have a lot of information and a lot of guidelines about what they want to do when they're choosing their topic and choosing if they're going alone or going with a partner. We'll talk about the projects in November and December. They will have the choice of 5 project categories. They can write a paper if they're working alone. Can't do a group paper. They can make an exhibit, which is like a museum exhibit. It's not a poster board. It's a big exhibit, about as big as Taft. They can make a 10-minute documentary with narrating over images and video and adding sound and interviews and clips like that. They can create their own one-person or small group performance, like a skit. They write it, they block it, they act it, they direct it themselves. Or they can make an interactive website utilizing the NHD website builder. Whatever project category they do, the first thing they need to do is they need to dig in with their research. We have checkpoints for NHD. These are posted on my NHD board in my classroom, and also I will put them on NHD Google Classroom for the students. The checkpoints are to make it a little more manageable for kids because this is not a project that can be done overnight. We do it in steps. That's the easiest way to do it. We call it bits, not blitz. All right. And what I love about NHD is it's a marathon. And so the journey is really, really important. It's not just the destination, but it's what they do and how they develop in order to cross that NHD finish line. They'll get feedback all along the way. I give them feedback on their process, each one of their checkpoints, how they're doing in and out of class. Their project itself will get feedback utilizing the rubric you see on the screen there. That's from National History Day, because that's also what's used in competitions. The great thing is, once they get their feedback, they can always improve. It's the growth mindset that we want to instill in everybody. And also, I frequently ask them to self-assess, because reflection is one of the most important parts of feedback. This will all of my feedback will be delivered on Google Classroom. If you're ever interested in finding out any feedback that's been offered, please ask your young historian to log into Google Classroom and take a look with them. When are you going to see these projects? Well, you'll probably see them beforehand, but you're going to see all of them at our NHD Showcase, which is right now scheduled for Monday, February 2nd. It's determined by the regional competition, so we'll see what happens with that. But the NHD Showcase is a great time. It's a huge open house. You're going to see 65 young historians showing off their best work. Usually about 300 people come. You're already invited. It's already on the USM calendar. From there, I make decisions and we go to a regional competition. Unfortunately, our local regional competition in Milwaukee, the one that we're assigned to, that is over our spring break, so I informed NHD that we cannot do that one. There also is one in Mequon. They have not told me the date of that yet, so I can't give you all the date, and I've been asking. That date will also determine when, if the showcase has to be changed, because it might have to be moved around based on the date of the regionals. But this is when they compete, our students compete in front of judges, and they compete with schools from all around the North Shore area. And we usually sit down and have a good time and maybe get some pizzas or stuff like that. From there, the judges will move projects on to the state competition. That state competition happens in April and May. And 3 projects in each category can go to the state competition. From there are 8 regions in the state. There's hundreds and hundreds of projects in each one of the categories. The top 2 from the state competition will get a gold medal. It's top 2 in each category will get a gold medal, and they'll move on to the national competition. In the middle school level, there are 18 projects that move on from the state to the national level. Last year, out of the 18 in the state of Wisconsin, 7 were from USM. 2 years ago, 10 were from USM. The year before that, 4 were from USM. We're pretty successful at the state level, which is because of the hard work of your young historians. It's quite possible that these young historians that all, as you can see, these young historians happy and smiling, and these young historians happy and smiling, they all participated in the national competition, which is at the University of Maryland in June. It is a really, really fun event. It's an event where they can win prizes, they can win money, they get recognition beyond school. It's really, really awesome. And in the bottom right, some actually can win first place in the nation. When people ask me why do we do NHD, I point to research. I point to data. I point to statistics. NHD completed a independent research project about the impact of NHD. And one thing NHD does is it teaches critical thinking, writing, and research skills. And it actually boosts performances across the board. Students who participate in NHD, by statistics, actually do better on standardized tests. Students who participate in NHD have more preparation for college, career, and citizenship because they can evaluate information. They have definite perseverance and work habits. They have organizational and communication skills. They can plan out ahead of time. And also, NHD can help inspire students. These are the major reasons why I do it. But also, I did my own statistical research. The number is actually larger. It's over 600 surveys that I have completed, or that I've had completed since 2018. 600 surveys of 8th graders. And I give them statements, and I ask them if they agree or disagree. And you can see their results show that NHD is great for USM 8th grade. 92% feel they have enough guidance and assistance in the NHD process. 81% feel their writing skills improve through the NHD process. 85% feel that their organizational skills improve. 94% feel that their research skills improve. And what I think is most important, 87% do their best, which is what I really want from all kids, and 91% 91%, 9 out of 10 eighth graders agree or strongly agree that the NHD project is valuable for students to complete. So if kids feel it's valuable and they feel they grow from it and they feel that they're going to do their best, we're going to continue to do it. It is a challenge, but as Frederick Douglass said, without a struggle, there can be no progress. And that's what I want your students to have, is that challenge with my support in order to push that rock up the hill or cross that finish line of the marathon and do the best that they can and become the best possible young historian they can be. So how can you help? Well, the number one way that you can help is make sure that your students are doing the project and you are not. All right, I say that very, very openly, very, very clearly. This is a student project. But also, kind of check in with them, support them. There's probably going to be some, maybe driving to libraries. Take them to the library. They got to get a library card if they don't have one already. You might have to take them to possibly meet up if they have a partner. Maybe even take them to places outside of the local area if they're really, really interested for research. They might have to, do group projects, or you might have to take them to a store if they're doing something that's created. But whatever it is, just kind of help and support them. Continuously ask them and learn from them, because that's really what I want them to be able to do, is really they become the teacher. So that's an overview of NHD at USM. I hope this helps. You'll get much, much, much more information about NHD along the way. If you ever have any questions about it, please let me know. And one other thing is to make sure that your students are, especially if they are working in groups, that you can also help manage their group relations. That's something that comes up. But overall, hopefully this gives you a good deal of information. I know some of you are already NHD veterans / survivor / supporters, and some of you this is the first time. So hopefully this gives you some insight. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Take care.